Hey guys, and welcome to the new episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today I have a new guest, Jana, CEO and founder of YLT Translations. Hi Jana, how are you?
Hi, Jakob. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. So thanks for being here. And the topics that we'll be talking today are mostly related to what you are doing. So we will be talking about Amazon listings translations, copywriting, keyword research, and optimization. And we also want to talk a little bit about the software and, of course, AI, because right now everyone is talking about the AI. But yeah,
Of course.
before that, Jana, I would love to hear a little bit of your backstory. So I know that right now you're running the successful company, but tell us a little bit more about your background. Like what was the touch point of Amazon?
Yeah. Actually, I started my e-commerce journey about 15 years ago. And I used to work for a very big e-commerce in Denmark. So those were my roots and my beginnings. And they let me play around with their Amazon account about 10 years ago. And this is how I first found out about buy box and other terms. My background is in languages. So I was first hired as a translator, and then I kind of got like a lot of knowledge about e-commerce and about like a lot of other things. And then I saw that Amazon listings from this company, they were not doing that well. They didn't care about much about Amazon because most of the revenue was coming through their website. They had over 150,000 products, so that was
Oh
insane.
wow.
So I just decided to play around with the account as if it was mine. And I decided to hire someone from the call center to translate them, like to get natives to translate the listings and do a little bit of research with the help of keyword planner and anything we could like get a little hands on. At that time, that was like not Helium 10 was not involved, and it was just like different
You said that
times.
was 10 years ago.
10, 11 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Extremely early
Yeah.
for Amazon world.
Very, very early. Yeah. And then I saw some results, and I saw that, we're getting some impressions, we were even getting some conversion rates. And I was like, wow, so there's really, like this is working. So basically, content matters, like SEO matters on Google, which was one of my specialties. So shortly after that, I quit my job and I decided to start YLT Translations as an e commerce translation agency. But then shortly after that, we niched down to Amazon only. So now we are an
Hmm.
Amazon dedicated agency, and we specialize in translations with SEO and keywords optimization, localization, all of that. That will
Hmm.
basically bring you sales, and that will fix all of those machine translations you've been using for a while.
Hmm. Got it. But I just want to still get back a little bit earlier because
Yep.
that's like I really like to ask those questions, entrepreneurs. I mean, right now you have this company, you run it. It's actually, I mean, I know that you are hiring a lot of people, right? Is it like 80 people at your team currently, or?
Yeah, it's around 80, 85 people at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is crazy. So I just want to ask you actually about your entrepreneur spirit. I mean, what really made you quit your job and start your company? Was it like always you were thinking about something like this, or what actually happened?
So I'll have to disappoint you. Like I haven't had any entrepreneurial spirit 5 years ago. I was going to like wear a suit and like be this like have this like power suit and bring all these like decisions and like work in a big successful corporation. And I did not have any aspirations to start my own company. But then I've done a lot of different things in my previous company, company that I worked for. And I saw that I'm actually capable of doing some really great things. And I've enhanced the business of my previous owner a lot, thanks to literally just myself. But I just constantly felt very much underappreciated. And then I think because my ex-boss was such an asshole, I have to say, this is what pushed me into actually quitting my job. I think that if I was more valued and more appreciated at my job, probably would not have left till this day. But since I saw that I was capable of doing a lot of things and bringing, growing the company, bringing more revenue, I was like, why would I work for somebody else? Like I
Yeah.
should do the same for me. And then because I was not, like I was not a risk taker. I'm not someone that's going to change their life overnight, which you hear like in other stories and like heart to hearts from other entrepreneurs. I was actually the one that was like very shy, and I was like afraid of making the big change. And I didn't actually have support from my parents or my friends. And but so it took me 3 years to quit my job.
Oh yeah.
There was like a, a tipping point where I think I got like a 50 euro bonus for something I did, and that
Hmm.
was actually establish a branch in Russia for the whole company. um Took me about a year and a half, and then I got 50 euros bonus from my boss, and I was like, you know what, if I have like the slightest respect for myself, I'm going to quit this job, and that's it.
Hmm.
And at that
Got it.
point, I didn't have plans of what I want to do, but I was just like, you know what? I think I should do something. I should try something on my own. And I was so scared, and I really I had no rational explanation of like what I'm gonna do right now in my life. But I just knew that I wanted to try and work for myself, because the worst thing that could happen is like I'll just go back and find like another 9 to 5
Totally.
office job.
Yeah.
So that was my before like entrepreneurial journey. And now fast forward to like 5 years later, I would not work for anybody else in my life
Hmm.
like ever. And I think that was the best and the hardest decision in my life that I ever made. Um, thanks to the support of my husband mostly. He's also an entrepreneur, and he kind of kept me pushing like and going. And like there were like a bunch of like falls, and of course as one has. But I think the most important thing for me back then was to not think too much about what I'm doing, in terms of like, say yes and then figure it out. Like literally
Oh
that
yeah.
was my motto back then. I'm not gonna say like fake it till you make it. I'm gonna say like you say yes and then figure it out, because I would not have said like yes in most of the cases, because I didn't think I was capable of doing something like that. But I would say yes, and then I would figure it out, and I would have figured out like, and I would like get
Totally.
like with the result and solution every single time. So I did not have faith, and I had like serious problem with like self-worth, because the first question I asked to myself was like, why would anyone come and like, use my services? Like,
Yeah.
like, and persistency. Like, the first time I reached out to anyone in the community, was Orange Click founder,
Hmm.
Augustus. He's very big in Europe. And so I just wanted to do like a video. And I was like, I was scared. My hands were shaking. And I'm like, I'm just going to send him this email, and then, we'll see how it goes. So he invites me like to an interview, and we do an interview. And I was like, really, like, I literally blacked out. This is how scared I was.
Oh wow.
And my previous work, I was a boss to 400 people, so I had like the authority, and I knew what needs to be done. But like when you
Hmm.
start doing something for yourself, you kind of like forget everything that you know. It doesn't apply to like this new
Yeah.
venture that you've started.
Totally.
So Augustus said no to me 5 times. And I was like, wow, this is not going well. But then what I learned in my life, especially like when I lived in the States, was that, like, if you knock on the door and they say no, you come back until they say like, wow, she's really persistent. Let's just give her a chance. Let's see what she's got. So
Hmm.
I took no for an answer 5 times. And then I was just like, I'm just gonna like reach out back again and again. And then I think it was like sixth time, and I was like, "Hello, it's me again."
Oh
And then
yeah.
it goes like, "Okay, let's do a video. Okay, let's do it. Like, let's do a 5 minute video." And we finally did a 5 minute video. I had like a full on script. I was like reading from the script because I couldn't focus like to improvise or say anything that was not scripted. And so it sounded pretty much like a robot, and people loved it, and he loved it, and this is how our first client started
Wow.
flocking in. And then after that, I got invited to like a bunch of other conferences, and I even spoke like in German and Danish and English, like all around the world, from like LA to China. All this to say that I'm not a natural born public speaker or entrepreneur. I was like this shy, little scared girl that had no idea what she's gonna do with her life. And I think that, like, you need support. I think I needed support from someone that was very close to me, and I needed to tell myself that I need to be persistent. And then
Totally.
it doesn't matter. Like, honestly, like, even if you have a shitty product, like, I think you will be successful just because you're persistent.
Yeah.
And a lot of very big stars, and I mean, there's so many stories about, I know, like Steven Spielberg and like all of these A-list celebrities. and their screenplays and music and songs and all of that. And then people told them like, this is crap, this is never going to work. And they've been hearing that their whole life. And then at the end, they turn out to be superstars
Oh
because,
yeah,
among other things, they are persistent. So I think that,
definitely.
it all lies in your motivation and your dedication to your work. Because if you have like only one other person that thinks you are a superstar, I think that's enough for you to start your journey.
Oh yeah, awesome. That's really great story. And to be fair, I doubt that there are really true real born entrepreneurs, right? I mean, it's a journey, and at some point you gotta take a risk, and it's never easy. It's not like someone just from whole life wanted to become entrepreneur and then became one. I mean, maybe there are some stories like this, but I've never really met anyone. It's more always like a story that, yeah, something
Yeah.
similar, that you had a job, you felt bored, or like you felt underappreciated, and you just had to make a switch, and you just try that, right? And I was kind of in the same shoes. Like I was more like, I just felt that I didn't want to build stuff for someone else. I was having like 3 jobs before starting Delta Logic, and I was like, it doesn't make sense. It's only exchanging time for money. There's no really any value that I built over years. So that was essentially what brought me here, because I wanted to build something, not only exchange my time for money, but have something for years. But yeah, the beginnings were also hard. Like everyone was saying no. I was keep trying, and also when I couldn't really do something, I mean, you said not fake it till you make it, but instead say yes and then figure it out. I really love it, because it sounds different, it's similar, but once you are basically committed, you are also more motivated to do
Yeah,
something.
you'll
So
find a solution to that. I
and
just
I
wanted to
agree.
add one thing, and that is that I mean, yes, I don't. I also don't think that they're like naturally born entrepreneurs. But what people do is like, for instance, like I am 37, and I could have had like 7 businesses until this point. But I kind of got to be on this entrepreneurial journey when I was 32, which is fairly late. I mean, I don't think late is. It's never too late, but I would just to say that I'm very envious of people who start their journey earlier, like in their 20s, or like you maybe have like 1 or 2 like part-time like student jobs, and you're like, nah, this is not for me, and then immediately they start like doing something on their own. So I'm kind of envious of that, but I guess like back, I mean, I'm never like sorry for what it was. It is in the past, and I think at that time when I was like 23, I would have never started anything because at that time I had a completely different mindset. So my mindset came to me when I was 32, and
Hmm.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I know a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, I should have done this like 10 years ago." And my question is like, well, would you? Like, I highly doubt that you would
Right.
have started this 10 years
I,
ago.
I
And
agree.
a
I
lot of
agree.
people just like, have like this question themselves, like, man, if I had this idea 9 years ago, I would. I'm like, but you did not have this idea 9 years ago. And what's it worth like talking about something that you can't change, which is behind you? But what you can do is you can take actions now. And there's so many people that have these like $1 million ideas that never get into
Yeah.
realization.
I
And
mean, the
what
idea
do these
without execution is
people have?
nothing, right?
Exactly. So what do these people have like with their ideas? Saying like, oh, well, you know what? Like I was the first to think of that. And then like, well, did you do anything with it? No, it didn't. So it doesn't really make any difference that you had an idea. Also the same as like what happened in the past is in the past. And then what you can do today is like execute new things and just move forward in the way to in and having a mindset that will help you go into that direction.
Totally. I agree. There's no really any benefits of thinking about the past. Like I should have done
No.
something. There's no
Yeah.
really any benefits in that. So, and also there's no benefits to having some kind of regrets for the past. So I also focus on now and the future mostly. So I could also say, hey, I should have started earlier, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I started relatively early, so I don't really have any position to say anything here. But yeah, on the other hand, I know that there's really no late age, right? And also, just from checking real success stories from entrepreneurs all around the world, actually, it seems like people who are like more than 40, they really got the success, right? So all of the experience also working for corporates for different jobs, this is all
Yep.
valuable. This is all experience. So I actually have one friend who he's I think 33. He's running his business basically since he started when he was 19. And he said that first 5 or 6 years of his business, it was all failure. And he actually admitted that he should have started a little bit later. That was actually too
Mhm.
early. He
Interesting.
wanted first to get the experience working for someone else. Because I mean, to be fair, how can you just invent how to run business without really working for someone else, right? So I think there's let's say always good. It's always good to have some experience working for someone else first. So obviously there are examples of people who just started extremely early and they are successful, but that's the thing, right? People always talk about people who succeed, but no one really talks about the failures. And there's much more people who
Exactly.
failed their businesses. So
Absolutely. So don't feel like a loser because you're not, you know?
totally. So Jana, I could actually have been speaking about entrepreneurs for like more than I don't know hours and hours, but I wanted to now jump a little bit more into the topics of the Amazon. So and translations and YLT. So let's talk about the services. I know that you're doing listing translations, but that's not everything that you're doing at your company, right?
Yeah, so basically that's our prime service are Amazon listing translations, which are basically like a one-of-a-kind packaging where we offer translation with localization and optimization, which means keywords of your whole listing, like A+ content, title, bullets, backend search terms, absolutely everything. And what is really important when you do translations is that you don't do word-by-word translations, because a lot of brands, for instance, like we work with a lot of US brands, and then their content will be very salesy and fluffy and like very like exciting, but it doesn't sit well with Germans, which I'm sure you know. So you'll have to adjust that. You'll have to tone it down. You'll have to have a different style if you want to win over your new type of audience. So this is also something that you have to take into consideration when doing the translations. And recently we have a lot of very big enterprises that we work with, and the problem with these enterprises is that they do not have a lot of Amazon educated people on their teams. So they would ask me like, well, like we're very happy with our US copy. We don't need keywords like, on a new marketplace. And I'm like, well, if you translate these keywords as the content as it is, it will not translate into
Yeah.
keywords actually on a new marketplace. Because like even if you have like a US content, you don't want to copy paste it to the UK market. Because we recently had a seller, she was selling baby diaper bag, and she just copy pasted this listing for a UK marketplace. And then she was ranked for a completely wrong term, because the word diapers in the US means actually in the UK, the term means adult diapers. So they use it for adults. And
Oh
the
wow.
word for kids is
Mhm.
called nappies. So she was
Yeah.
like ranked for baby, adult baby bag, literally diapers.
That-
So that
That's
was
very funny.
not
I would
great. And
never
she
really
really,
think. I would never really think that you actually should translate English from US and UK. I mean, I know that there are differences, but
I mean, it's
it's
more of like
actually yeah.
localization than it is translations, because a lot of times the
Hmm.
text will be the same, but some of the words can get you in trouble. You definitely need to do new keyword research, because I don't think people will search for same things in the US and the UK. And also, what was the problem with this seller is because in her keyword database, which was also used for the UK marketplace, also in her
Hmm.
PPC campaigns, what she had a lot of Spanish words because of Mexican population US, which made
Hmm.
no sense in the UK. Also, there were words such as diaper changing stations, because you have those in the States, but you don't have those in the UK. Like there are no changing stations. And
Hmm.
also baby shower gifts. There was nowhere to be found on the UK top 100 keywords.
Hmm.
So she was, missing out on a lot of really good keywords and being ranked for completely wrong ones. That hurt her listing a lot.
Oh
So
yeah.
this is something that I see very often. And just imagine like what it happens when you just translate this text as it is and present it to a German audience. I mean, it doesn't really
Yes,
make a
totally.
lot of sense. And, like you have
Yeah.
to be careful with like using English words and English phrases actually like in products that sell in Germany. like, smartwatch and fitness, those words are fine, but like more than
Mm-hmm.
that, or just like keeping the same phrasing you're using in US, like display of words, just like leaving it in English
Mm-hmm.
for the German marketplace is really, really not, it's not a good idea. Because it will not have the same effect. And a lot of big brands really do not understand the importance of this.
Oh yeah, and actually, I wanted to. I mean, you mentioned already keyword research that you should actually do it also when it comes to translations. And I just wanted to point out here that I saw already a lot of those are obviously clickbaits on YouTube. I mean, everything related to AI right now is a
Yeah.
clickbait, right? So there were like tons of videos. Hey, get your listings on Amazon using ChatGPT. And to be fair, I don't really believe that this is possible. That you can just have one listing, put it to ChatGPT, and it will just translate everything. And simply, in my opinion, but obviously I want to hear yours, is that this is without really putting any context, right? There's no database with the proper keywords,
Yeah.
and you cannot really
No.
use just an AI without really having any knowledge about keyword on Amazon to translate the listings, right? So people may say, okay, right now there's AI, I don't really need any services of company like yours, but I think it's a huge mistake. And if they don't really get educated first, they will lose, and their competitors will win, basically, simply because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a big fan of AI. I use it every day. And I've been testing AI tools ever since they came out. I think I did a couple of testing back in January with a lot of tools that actually wanted to work with us. They wanted to get our feedback because we do between 4,000 products every single month. And we have a lot of data. We have a lot of practice when it comes to all of these products. And so we worked with a couple of them, and we've tested them afterwards. And the problem with those tools is that, so when it comes to copywriting, you can create something out of nothing. This is what AI
Mm-hmm.
focuses on. So like you give them a topic, a prompt, and then like you build something out of nothing. That's like fantastic, right? But nowadays, honestly, I'm kind of getting bored and tired of ChatGPT created content, especially because now you can figure out that it is written by ChatGPT, because no matter how you change it, you'll still see that it is this ChatGPT. Of course, there are some cases that you give it like, here's 100 examples of how I write this blog, so please make it
Okay.
sound the same. Like, yes, but a lot of people won't do that, especially
Oh
like
yeah.
on LinkedIn. You'll definitely see like AI generated content, and I'm just like, like now it's not, it's not a big deal. It's not a creative. It's not out of the box thinking. It's very similar, and it's great if you want to be average, but if you want to be outstanding, you still need to fix this content, or you need to give it like better prompts. And this is also when it comes to listings. If you tell them like write title and bullets and all of that, the ChatGPT or any AI, they will not know how to use keywords. They don't have logins to your brand analytics or Helium 10 or Data Dive. Like
Yeah.
they don't know how to use these tools. So even if they create a copy, you'll still need to put those keywords yourself that you did research for. You don't know the language, that you're going to ruin the whole text. So it's really not going to be great for the copywriting. And now when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to translations, it's even worse because I think they kind of focus like on AI being a tool that creates something out of nothing. So it always tries to kind of transcreate whatever it's given. So from all the tests that I've done, if you have like title and bullets and then you put it in the tool that will translate and use keywords, I mean, it will not, but they say they will. The tool will take, let's say, title, and then you have 5 bullets. It will take the content from, let's say, first 3 bullets or randomly chosen bullets, and then it will transcreate that into 5 bullets. So you will have some information from the source text, but you will not have a lot of information that you have in your source text. So it will not stay true to the original text, and it will not fully translate it or localize whatever your brand wants to stand for and
Mm-hmm.
however you want it to sound like. So
Mm-hmm.
that were my results, and then you would spend more time fixing that than like having someone do it from scratch and like do it the way it's supposed to. And especially if you don't know the language, there is no way how you can check like if everything is in the source text. I mean, if you don't use like Google Translate, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not a proofreading tool, so you should not use it. But that's it. Like for now, it's not very accurate. It doesn't get you good results. It will. I think it's okay if you want to understand the text, then it's fine. Like if you want to understand how your washing machine works, like from English to German, like I think that's fine. But when it comes to storytelling, your brand's identity, I don't think ChatGPT is a good idea. If you want, you can create something with the help of that, but then you will need someone to fix it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I mean, copywriters and translators generally, they hate, working on a messy content because they get paid less for that and it takes more
Mhm.
work for it. So
That's very
that's
interesting.
that. As I said, I love AI tools. I use them every day. I have a bunch of them that would, like, for instance, from this podcast, they will create like 15 different clips and I could use them,
Oh yeah.
repurpose them and all of that. There's like even one tool that, so like if you're like me 5 years ago, like you're reading from a script and you have to watch at the camera, look at the camera. So there's like a tool that makes your eyes look
Yeah.
in the camera where you're
I
looking
know
at
it.
and stuff like that. I really like that.
Yes, yes, yes. When it comes to the tools, like we are also like testing a lot of things, using a lot of things
Yeah.
for content creation. But you are right, especially like you can see which listings are written, or like if I'm not actually writing a copy for listings, but I can tell, for example, on LinkedIn when the chat is when the post is really
Yeah.
created by ChatGPT, even when I just see emojis, like I can tell you right away if I just skim through the post and I see emojis not like in the way that I would never put them, as like okay, like it's really created by
Exactly. And also like you can
ChatGPT.
see
So
like especially if you know the person, um and then you read their post and you're like, these
oh yeah,
synonyms are so like
that's so
not
funny. Yeah,
this
yeah,
person. And that's
that's
also
true.
like one of the things that, and I think like in the beginning it was, untraceable by detectable by human eye, but now I can totally
Yeah,
see the
it's so
pattern,
easy.
all of that. And I mean, it's really like I'd rather write something even though it's not that cool, but it comes from me and it's what I think, than like using ChatGPT and
And
having like these generic texts that are all over
hmm
internet.
and I had some cases when actually client replied to my email using ChatGPT, and to be fair, I feel like that it was just like answer without any kind of respect. It was like very professional, very formal, and I was like, "What the heck?" Right? We
It's
met a
very
couple of
dry.
times.
Yeah.
I've been to their office. We are like very chill, and then there was like some problem with the payment from their side, and then just they generated this message, and I was like, why? And there's even this soft like website called Zero GPT. So basically this is
Okay.
the website that you can paste your text and it will tell you how many percentage is
Yeah.
generated by ChatGPT. It was like
Yes.
95%,
Yes.
right?
There
So
are a bunch of tech like
they didn't
websites like
even
that. Yeah.
try.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, they didn't even try.
No.
So
No. No.
on daily basis when a human can see it, then obviously Amazon algorithm will be more sensitive to that. So I agree. Now, Jana, I would love to hear more about some of your case studies. Like if you could bring us some of your clients that you actually created, I don't know, like a full strategy with the copywriting, then the translations, and how it will brought him sales.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the top selling products or categories in Europe are definitely going to be supplements, wooden toys, anything that has to do with toddlers. I would say toddlers more than babies, and fitness products. So these are probably some of the top selling products that we see that work. And we usually work, mostly we work with US brands, but we also work with some German brands and some UK brands. But US brands are the ones that like expand to Europe the most, but we also do Japan, we also do Brazil, Mexico, and UAE as well. So yeah, there was like a lot of this year has been really big with fitness products, for instance. What was really interesting is that a lot of these brands, as I mentioned previously, they don't understand how things work. They don't even have the specific vocabulary that will make me understand what they want. So sometimes it's like really, really challenging to work with new brands on Amazon, but also it's very fulfilling because you know that they're going to get some results. So basically, like what we suggest, and what we do with like a bunch of brands that we work with, is that you have to create like a really good content. Like for instance, like in Europe, what we also suggest, like we're doing bullets, you can still keep the caps lock, which is against TOS in the US. US is, I mean, Europe is like light years away from what's against TOS in the US. And this is what we should, take advantage of as much as we can. So basically, like what you want to do is like how you build like a solid product is basically using like top 2-3 keywords, like the strongest one in your title. And you want to start with those keywords. You don't want to use question marks, exclamation points, full stops, any of that, like in your title. And you definitely want to like make it shorter than, I don't know, 149. Like I wouldn't even go to 199 characters. I would like go for shorter as well. And what a lot of brands don't really pay attention to is the mobile app. How does your product look on your mobile app? Because a lot of times, like this title or like maybe the keyword that you use on the desktop will be cut in half in the mobile version, and then it would not be indexed as well, which is very important to mention when talking about German, which has a lot of very big compound words. And also like French is the longest language when translated from English or any other one. You also have to make sure that you can put like all the important points like in the title. So this is like something that is really important. And then of course bullets, like we like to stay until like 249 characters. You kind of really want to emphasize on the features, on the quality, where your product beats the competitors, where it's made, if it's eco-friendly, sustainable. All of that is like super, super important. And of course, like that fifth bullet can be left to be like it can have seasonal keywords depending on what your product is, like Mother's Day, New Year's, Christmas, all of that, Advent, and many other things. So this is like something that was like our rule of thumb formula that we see that works really, really well. And of course, like not to overstuff keyword with keywords. Deciding for your brand is very important if you want to have broader or more specific keywords. Both have their good and bad side. So it just really depends on what you want more for your product. Some of the brands really want to go super broad, and others want to have like just like exact matches like they do like in their PPC campaigns. What we also seen that works also for a lot of brands, and what they don't think about are foreign languages in their in the country they want to sell in. Like how you have like a Hispanic keywords in the US because of the Hispanic population. We've done one product that was like some sort of like a kebabs keywords or something like that. And then in the keyword research, we had a bunch of Turkish words. And you would think like, oh, this is like some like, it's like gibberish or it's like misspellings and whatever. If you were speaking English, you don't know what this means. But these were actually Turkish words. They made a lot of sense. They had something related with a certain dish that could be made with the skewers. And they had decent volume. Like they would have like 700 search volume, and then we would check the competitors, and none of the competitors had that in their listings. Of course, you would put this in backends, but the competitors did not have that, and you will be literally like the only one ranking for that. So I would always like pay attention to whatever you don't understand in the listing. Maybe it's another language, maybe it's Polish, maybe it's Turkish, maybe it's like another language. And it can bring you a lot of good things, especially if it's if the search volume is big. I don't think it's going to be probably like one of the top 10 search terms, but if the search volume is like 1,500, then you should not ignore the keyword, because it means that 1,500 times someone that month is looking for that search term. So this is something that we also apply a lot of times when
it's very
possible.
Interesting.
It's not possible.
It just seems like it's a very time-consuming process, right? So I think that it's very common mistake for sellers who are trying to go international, that they just don't pay that much attention to it. And just from your history right now, it's crazy with those words that if you don't pay attention to those details, you can really lose with your competitors.
Yeah, and keyword research is something that you should not do a very superficial job on. Like this is probably like one of the most important tasks when it comes to your PPC campaigns, content. I mean, those keywords are going to sell your product. Your content can be like better or worse, but keywords have to be top notch. And this is like the most important thing. And also when it comes to listing, number one important things are keywords. Second thing, images. Like this is what's going to be very important when someone sees the listing. Secondly, what's very important also is like that A plus content. And then a lot of sellers think that A plus content is not indexed. But what we always do is like when you have pictures in A plus content, you can name the files with the keywords and they will get indexed. So it is not confirmed that A plus content is fully indexed. It's like still A/B testing. People say this and that. But what is fully like indexed is going to be the name of the images that you use there or template. Just use it with the keyword. When it's interesting, like when you compare all of the content and all of the competitors, for instance, like we use data. And when you like compare all the competitors, let's say in France or Italy or any other foreign marketplace, and you know that this brand is coming from overseas or from UK or any other country, you'll see that they don't have good content. And you'll be surprised of like how easy it is to beat your competitors on the content level, because a lot of them have no idea what they've got translated in their listing. And most likely they do not even have any keywords. And I did a lot of analysis with like very like top-notch selling categories like wet brush on the German marketplace. And it was another baby product, I think. And literally like wet brush, I think was like the most competitive category. And out of like, I think 15 products, I think only 4 had really good content. Which means that it's not impossible to beat them. It will take some time, but I'm talking about the most competitive, one of the most competitive niches, and the products has only 4 products that have good content and good keywords. So you can just imagine how bad other categories and a bunch of other products are. And this is like what I really enjoy, like doing and analyzing. I have a lot of videos on that topic and a lot of videos on my LinkedIn. I just kind of can't help but wonder, like, you know, why is this like that? And because people are not educated on this topic.
Exactly.
And people are like literally leaving a lot of money on the table. So, you know, we've done basically so many products that I can say that literally, usually with the brands that we work with, you can see changes after 3 weeks, sometimes even after 2 weeks, depending on the product and the category. You can see spike in sales, and you'll definitely see some changes, especially if you've done anything with machine translation or AI. You will see spike in sales, spike in impressions, like something will happen, because when you fix something that it's not working, it's easy to see results. And literally, like, people would make at least 30% more revenue and profit than they were making, if they were making any. And it can go up to, like, we have some case studies that say like 150% increase in sales.
Oh, wow.
So we've seen a lot of things happen, and usually people are very happy and they do see results. As I said, if you have a very technical product that is really complicated, that could be an issue, and that can maybe, you know, that can maybe not be a successful product. But I mean, it really depends, like, on the product and the audience. This is something that is due diligence you have to do up front. And also, expanding to other marketplaces is not for everyone. I would want it to be, but it's definitely not for everyone. Not everyone should expand because they saw somebody else expand and earn like a bunch of money. You have to do your due diligence and homework, and you have to understand if it makes sense for you to expand and not blow your money and time on something that it's not going to work.
Totally awesome. That was very, very insightful. So thanks for sharing this. I kind of felt like on a consultation with you from all of the insights that you brought us. So I'm sure that everyone who is watching it will actually get a lot of value from this episode. So thanks a lot, Jana. That was really, really great. And you mentioned that you have a YouTube channel, right, with some videos, or like you said that you are sharing all of those insights somewhere. So if you could share with us where people can find you, if they have some questions or wanna maybe try using your services.
Sure, it's LinkedIn. I don't have a YouTube channel. That's in the works. Hopefully next year, but right now I'm a really big
So you're
fan
putting
of
videos on
LinkedIn.
YouTube? On LinkedIn, actually?
Yes, on LinkedIn. Yeah. So all my videos and all the content and updates and insights and all of the information we get from clients or working with them, everything is available on my LinkedIn profile. And I was kind of lazy the last 2 months. I didn't do a lot of videos, but I just started recording them again. I get some really good feedback, so I think I should keep on doing that. And just publishing that more and more, because what I see is that people are interested in this topic, but they don't know actually
Definitely.
how much it can help them, or what they're doing right now can hurt them. We do have a lot of we do get a lot of work because of the machine translation, and because of Amazon Launchpad, machine translations, and all of that. Because Amazon pushes you into selling more and more. They reach out, they're like, come on, expand, but they do not give you the results that you expect, because they offer machine translations and a bunch of other things that are not great. But then luckily, like we also work with the Amazon team as well, and they send over
Hmm.
clients, and then we kind of fix it. So it's really, really exciting to see that you can grow your profit and increase whatever you're doing. And if you're interested in that, like, you can just, like, for instance, I like using Smart Scout, where you can Google
Hmm.
brands and see how much revenue they have. So if you're wondering, like, for instance, if you take a very big brand and you're selling internationally, you'll be surprised by how little they're actually making versus how much they could make. Because you can have, like, a German brand selling 500,000 euros a month of products, that this US brand that's insanely big is selling for 4,000 euros. Just because their content is not great, PPC is not great, and they're just, like, not doing a great job. And I think 5% of your competitors are doing a good job when selling abroad, and this is your chance how you can
Hmm.
jump ahead. And as I said, don't leave money on the table. There's a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
money in Europe, and definitely try and do due diligence, and they'll see if it works.
Totally. I'll make sure to basically link your profile also on the description, and also your companies. So YLT Translations, there will be a link in the description if someone is also interested to reach out. So
Perfect.
great. Thanks a lot, Jana. It was great to have you here, and we speak soon.
Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure.
Bye bye.